Hello guys, I hope wherever you're watching us from, you're having a great time. This is AfriPost and welcome to today's video. Now, we know that President Nangolo Mbumba, the current president of Namibia, announced that 24th February 2024 will be the day that Hage Geingob will be buried. Hage Geingob is the immediate former president of Namibia. He passed away while in power, and he was a visionary leader that is respected across different African countries and across the world. So in this video, I want us to remember the late Hage Geingob because he is somebody who has had a lot of moments that can be remembered in many ways. Now in today's video, I want us to pick up one moment when Hage Geingob stood up for Africa and also for Namibians. Let us watch this video keenly and then react to it after the video. Let's watch.
Whereas in Namibia, for example, the number of Chinese people living here in the meantime is 4 times as much as, for example, the German community. And it's not precisely the same what takes place all over the world. There are differences. And what I'm...
Mr. Speaker, yeah. What is your problem with that? Why does it become your problem? it looks like it's a more European problem than our problem.
Yeah.
You are so sorry for us. I don't see Chinese will never come and play around here as Germans not allowed to do that, which Germans are doing, by the way. You talk about Chinese, we allow Germans to come offer visas here, red carpet. Our people are harassed in Germany, even diplomatic passport holders in Germany. And you come in here, Germans come in here as they want. So why Chinese talk about Germans? How you are treating us there? Chinese don't treat us like that. Diplomatic passport. We're coming back from Geneva. These people were held up at the airport. Just now, last week, in Germany. We know what we will handle our own country. Don't be sorry for us.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Every time Westerner comes, it's about Chinese. What is the problem? Is Namibia a problem of Chinese? Did you tell Namibians that Chinese have overtaken Namibia? Not on my watch. I told Chinese ambassador, yeah, I'm not your puppet. It was in press everywhere. So please, respect us. That's all I will say. It shows disrespect. That we are children who are going to be cajoled by Chinese or so on. No. Chinese are coming in infrastructure all over Africa. And I saw in America, they are there. Who bailed Americans out from the financial crisis? Chinese money is there. So why small Namibia, who fought Germans, even Germans were fighting with you. You are tough people. Now Chinese will come and, after our sovereignty, come and...
Now, from that clip, you are able to see that President Hage Geingob was very resolute in terms of understanding what Africa needs and understanding what Namibia needs, because if you hear that conversation, he's kind of telling off the German diplomat and saying that Germans, who are the colonizers of Namibia, cannot decide for Namibia what it's supposed to do. It cannot come to Africa and decide how Africa is supposed to relate with others. And this is a very salient point because you would realize that most of these countries that colonized Africa, they have remained in those countries and they want to control affairs of the countries that they colonized. For instance, you find France has had a lot of interference in the activities happening in countries that they colonized. England has also worked around the clock to ensure that its grasp of African countries does not end, and that is why the king is the head of the Commonwealth group and he's presiding over every activity that happens in that entity. And until recently, United States has also taken over and is really having its ideas imposed on different African countries. And this is something that we cannot accept. We remember Hage Geingob for having been a very, very charismatic leader, working towards ensuring that Africa rises. And this is what, as youths of Africa, we must work and ensure we continue this fight to an extent that the colonizers will not have any control over our continent. Because as a continent, we have a lot of natural resources working for us. We have a lot of natural resources that any Western leader would want to be theirs. And that is why they have continued to create conflicts here and there so that Africa does not have peace, and this gives them adequate opportunity to use up our resources. And this is something that we will not agree. And when Hage Geingob was there. He spoke against neocolonization, such that Africa is supposed to have its own friends and its own enemies. Africa should not be dictated on how it is relating with others. Africa should not be told what it is supposed to do with others. Africa should be left to be Africa and form its own path towards development. And this is, for me, how I remember Hage Geingob. He was somebody who was ready to really speak his point, regardless of who was in front of him. I really like that kind of engagement that he has. We remember that Hage Geingob also led the team that was forming the constitution of Namibia. We also know that his work in Namibia helped create a lot of governance structures that defined it even after independence. And this is very important to have in mind, because as new leaders are coming in, they may not understand the history of their country. And this calls for them to go back and really look at the memorable moments that define their countries. Hage Geingob also got to presidency when he was still serving as the Prime Minister of Namibia. And since he got there, and since he got office, he's continued to work to ensure that Namibia rises and Namibia remains great. So regardless of the fact that he's gone, we remember him, and his actions still remain in our minds and our hearts, and we wish him and we wish the whole of Namibia peace during this tough time where they're burying a very, very great leader. And I hope that his work in Africa shall remain to inspire future generations to really have a continent that is working for itself and a continent that is great. Please join me in the comment section to wish Namibians well during this tough time, and also tell me about any memorable moment that you have, and you can use it to remember President Hage Geingob. That's the end, and let's say may God rest his soul in eternal peace. Goodbye.